Hey guys, my name's Ben Howard. We're out here at Wofford College to play around with the Simon Line discs. If you haven't seen these are discs designed by Simon Lizotte and made by Axiom Discs or MVP. And before we get started, yes, I am aware that Simon just announced that he's got 2 more discs coming out. I got these discs in the mail the day before that video came out, and I don't feel like waiting until those discs come out to make a video with them or with all of them. So we're just going to stick with the ones we got today. But if you want to see me make a video with them or with all of them together, please let me know down in the comments. But getting into the discs we have today, obviously you got to have the Pixel. This is a straight but torque resistant putting putter / throwing putter. A majority of the pros on MVP are putting with these things now, and I can really see why. They have a ton of glide, but they also handle torque very well. I've got 2 of them in the Electron soft plastic, and then I've got the Glow Pixel, which I believe this is the only run of premium plastic Pixel they've made so far. That might be wrong though, I'm not sure. Next up we have the Balance, which is supposed to be a straight to overstable mid-range. This is supposed to be a replacement for the MD3 in Simon's bag, but I believe they say this is supposed to be right in between a Pyro and a Reactor in MVP's lineup. I can definitely see that because it looks like a Reactor with just a slightly longer wing, but feels great in the hand. It feels great in forehand grip, so I'll be interested to try that with this too. Then finally, we've got the time lapse. I've got the original mold and the retooled mold. I can't really tell a huge difference between the two. If anything, it just feels like the original mold has a bigger dome to it, and the retooled one has just a flatter top, which makes sense considering the retooled mold is supposed to be a little bit less stable. But these are supposed to be the Cloudbreaker, DD3, the Destroyer, the reliable distance driver you can get a good amount of distance out of. I have thrown the original mold of the time lapse, and yeah, it was pretty overstable, but it definitely wasn't uselessly overstable. So I'll be curious to see how this one flies, if I'm able to actually get it to turn at all or anything like that. Yeah, I'm really excited to check these things out. I haven't done too much with the Simon line other than like I've made a video with the Pixel, but other than that, it's just kind of been like slightly experimenting with them. I've never thrown the Balance at all, and like I said, I threw the time lapse like a few times, so it should be a ton of fun. Unfortunately, it's kind of windy out here, as you might be able to tell from the my phone shaking from the wind, but I think all these discs should handle wind fairly well, so should be okay. But let's go near the round to find out. All right, guys, for hole 1, we got a par 3. I think it's like 180 feet, but I'm just gonna go ahead and chunk all the pixels at it. I think I'll start out with the 2 baseline ones, and then we'll finish off with the premium one. Oh man, drop in the basket. Oh, what? How did that not go in? I'm gonna have to watch that back because I swear that just went through the basket. Close. Ow. Okay. Interesting. They all felt like they flew the same. Granted, I'll have to throw them on a longer hole to really see if I can tell the difference. I would assume the Eclipse Pixel would be more stable, but it didn't really feel like it. Nope. Can't be giving these things any height in this wind. I gotta keep in mind these things do not fly like my Waymakers. They have a ton more glide, but they still are very torque resistant. All right, guys, for hole 2, we got a par 4. I think it's like 350, something like that. Basket's up here tucked off to the left, so I need to throw something like not quite at the school bus, but just to the left of school bus. Have it finished to the left. Shouldn't be too hard in this wind. I guess I'll throw both the time lapses, but I'm trying to decide if I want to go with the more stable one or not. I think I'll go with the more stable one as my main shot, and then we'll try the retool version. So we are throwing straight into a pretty stiff headwind. Oh. Wow, that thing is so stable. Whew. Okay. Also wasn't a good shot, but yeah. Oh, that's so nice. That's, oh, if I miss that, whatever those are, those green boxes, if I miss that, that's at least putting. And I don't know how much of this you'll be able to see, but the original time lapse ended up in here in the middle of this tree. And I'm only like 100 feet from the basket, but I think I'm going to have to try a little forehand approach shot with the balance. There we go. That's at least a putt. Okay, so I just went and picked up the time lapse. It was, I mean, if I would have missed this green box, I would have been up here in the circle for sure. Had like a 20, 25 footer for eagle, but still got our 35 footer for birdie. Oh wow, that was I got smashed. Jeez, I didn't think that right to left wind was that strong. Oh yeah, no, there it is. I was trying to get a little bit of Anheuser. That wasn't a good idea. All right, guys, for hole 3, we got a par 3. I think just a little over 200 feet. You can see the basket straight ahead, going slightly uphill. This would be a great hole to try the balance on, and I think I'll also throw the premium pixel as well, but let's go ahead and ace it with the balance. Oh, that is beefy. Wow. Okay. That's still going to be like a 20 footer, but I was expecting a little bit of push and then like a late fade, but that's, wow, that's actually really beefy. There it is. All right, guys, for hole 4, got a par 3, 350 feet. Basket straight ahead, nothing in the way. Just got to pay attention to the height more than anything else, but I'm going to go time lapses again, but this time I'm going to go with the retool. Time lapse is my main shot. If it did what it did on the last hole, this should get me all the way up there pretty easy. Ooh, heads up car. Oops. Yeah, wow. I can see what people are talking about. That actually flies like what you expect out of a destroyer, that flagship, stable distance driver that has a good amount of glide to it. Like you can throw it hard, know that it's never going to turn, or at least for somebody like me, it's never going to turn, but it's going to give you a nice amount of distance. Yeah, whereas that's just a little too overstable. Oh. Okay. All right, guys, for hole 5, we got a par 4, I think like right at 350 feet again. But the basket's just dead straight ahead. The biggest thing to pay attention to is the road is obviously out of bounds, but the road also loops around and is on the left side of the fairway. So like if I were to throw this through this left gap or throw it too high through the right gap, it could get down there and go out of bounds left. But I'm gonna go with the retool time lapse low through the right gap. Just get myself out there and then have it easy up and down for birdie. Yep. I think it's a big skip that could honestly get to the road, but I think that should be fine. Fade a little bit. Come on. Oh. If anything, it seems like the glow pixel is straighter than these electron ones. All right, guys, we're on hole 6. This one's a par 3, about 250-ish feet. You see the basket straight ahead under the tree. Throwing into a pretty stiff headwind, so I'm going to go with the balance. I think I can get this that far. With how it flew in hole 3, the only thing I'm really worried about is just getting it all the way back there. But I'm going to try and go to the right side of the tree and either swing in just behind the tree or just in front of it. Hope I miss it. It's good height. Get under the branches though. Nice. All right, guys, for hole 7, we got a par 5. No, or is this a par 4? I don't remember, but we'll call it a par 4 because you can get there in 2 shots pretty easily. But it's about 550 feet up here, tucked off to the left. I don't know if you can really see it under these trees on the left, but pretty much all we got to do, throw a hyzer out into this open field, and then throw another hyzer up into the green, which is slightly uphill. But going retool time lapse again. Just need to trust this because this thing is still more stable than I'm giving it credit for. And we got a tailwind, so you just need to trust this wide right. Give it plenty of time to fade left. If that was higher, that'd be really good. Get a big skip. Yeah, okay. From the tee box, I thought I was going to need to throw maybe the original time lapse again, but I think I can get the balance all the way up there. Got a left to right wind, which should keep us from going too far left. And that's probably the main mistake I could make. I don't think I can get to the road behind the basket from here with this thing. So just need to rip it hard and give it width. I didn't give it the width really, but just sit. That's fine. All right, guys, we're on hole 8, but unfortunately, it looks like they took out hole 8's basket because it was like a 250-foot shot just right there in the middle of the field. But I guess what we'll do is we'll just combine holes 8 and 9. Hole 9's basket is the one you can see way down there. Probably like a 400 to 450-foot shot, something like that. So this would be a good opportunity to really rip on the time lapses and see what kind of distance I can get out of them. Still have that stiff, now it's a right to left wind. So if I'm going to give these any anhyzer, I need to give them a ton of height, but both of them should come out of it at least fairly well. Going retool time lapse first, and then we'll try the original. I lost it at the end, but I think I at least got like a little over 350-ish feet. Should have like less than 100 feet into the basket. Now let's see what the OG time lapse can do. Yeah, that came out of it a little bit quicker. Oh, got a bigger skip too. It's crazy because they're really not that different. It just feels like the retooled time lapse is like a straighter run of time lapse, and then that original run. Wind trying to interrupt me. As I was trying to say, it feels like the original run is just a beefy run of time lapse. Okay, so I got up here and found the first time lapse, which I think I was right about 100 feet short of the basket, so it's probably 350-ish foot shot off the tee. If you pan over, you can see the original time lapse right there. So they both go the same distance, it seems like, but the original time lapse is just a little bit more overstable. Fade, come on, man. Oh, dang it, I thought I would have read the wind right on that one. Man. All right, guys, that finished up a round out here with the Simon Line discs. Sorry again for not being able to play 9 holes. I thought about making up an extra hole, but I do feel like I at least showed you what a majority of these discs do fairly well. Starting off with the Pixel, and if you watch my previous review of the Pixel, it's pretty much the same. Like, this thing's just so much fun. Like I said, straight but torque resistant. It has a great amount of glide. It's just a great throwing putter. I don't know about putting putter, especially for me. If you're spin putter, this is the best putter ever made. But for me, I have more of a push putt style, more of a lofty putt, and with these, you need to really be aiming inside the basket the entire flight of your putt. I don't normally do that. that, so it's not for me. But when it comes to approaches, throwing, anything, these things are so nice. Then for the balance did kind of what I expected it to do. It is a little bit more stable than I was thinking it was going to be. Like in the spectrum between reactor and pyro, I would say this is a little bit closer to a pyro. Like I would say this has the finish of a pyro, but it has the early flight of a reactor. And I'm sure that's what Simon was going for with this. And I wish I could have tried it on a forehand somewhere else other than hole 2, but I really do think this would be a great forehand mid-range. It's not going to be super overstable, but it's going to have enough torque resistance to really give you a great flight. I would say this is like a step up in stability from an MD3 for most people, at least. For Simon, this is probably exactly what he wants out of an MD3. And then finally, we got the time lapses. And this was interesting because I don't remember the time lapses being as stable as these things are. And I don't know, maybe I got to be wrong, but especially comparing it to this one that's supposed to be a destroyer slot for a lot of people, this is still really stable and doesn't have as much glide as I was expecting out of it. Granted, a disc like this for me, I expect to go about 350 feet, and I would say it did that fairly well. It just felt like it was getting out to that 300-foot range and then fading and like never going any farther. It never really felt like it had that little bit of extra push, because as you can see on the last hole we played, they both went the same distance, even though this one is less stable. It's just interesting. I've never seen anything like that, really. You always expect something with a little bit less stability to have a little bit of extra glide, a little bit of extra push, and this just didn't really have it. But if you're looking for just a slightly beat up version of a time lapse, these are great. I had a great time throwing them too. Like, they have a perfect amount of depth for me to where it feels like I have a really tight, firm grip on it, but it's not going to slip out of my hands too early or anything like that. I was able to get really clean, consistent releases with them, but I think they're just a little too stable for me, if anything. Yeah, guys, that's it for the Simon line. Like I said at the beginning, if y'all want me to get the other 2 discs that Simon's coming out with whenever they come out, I'll be more than happy to make a video with them. I also do have some other videos planned with these discs, so that's why I'm not doing a giveaway or anything like that with them today. So if you want to see more from these discs, stay tuned, because I should be making some more stuff with them. But if y'all have any other recommendations for discs, lineups, things I should try, please let me know down in the comments. But thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and y'all have a good one.